Welcome to the show, and welcome to Glow So Bright. This is an intelligence report on the Salt Lake City Pink Pistols and Armed Queers Salt Lake City chapters, published on September 17, 2025, with information cutoff on same date. Precedence is priority. Bottom line up front, Salt Lake City Pink Pistols and Armed Queers SLC leader scrambles to delete social media footprint post-assassination of Charlie Kirk, discovered to have state-sponsored ties with the Cuban government. The Salt Lake City Pink Pistols and the Armed Queers SLC are both armed Marxist, anti-fascist, anarcho-queer armed groups which operate within the Salt Lake City area of Utah. However, since the assassination of Charlie Kirk on September 10, 2025, the group and its leader, Ermia Fanayan, have been deleting or restricting social media accounts associated with the individual or the groups that she has founded. Ermia Fanayan is a founder and leader of both organizations, likely the age of 25, and lives within Salt Lake City, Utah. Fanayan is an Iranian immigrant. One of the first groups she founded was the March for Our Lives Utah group in around 2019, while studying at the University of Utah for a business degree. She was also an organizer for the Party of Socialism and Liberation, which that organization is funded by Neville Singham and the Chinese Communist Party. She would then form two armed organizations, the Utah chapter of Pink Pistols, as well as Armed Queers SLC. Pink Pistols SLC has been active since about 2020 and featured on an LGBT-themed magazine called The Slug, published on June 2021. This article, as well as photos of Fanayan, would feature marksmanship as a core tenet of the organization, I guess? The state of the Utah Pink Pistols is unknown since this time. The central organization of the Pink Pistols, since the September 10, 2025 assassination of Charlie Kirk, claims that she would splinter the organization off and call it the Armed Queers SLC. These claims are also mirrored around 2022, as well as similar claims found on Reddit. Armed Queers SLC would operate itself not too dissimilar to that of a John Brown Gun Club chapter. In fact, much of the arms and equipment would mirror that to the Elm Fork John Brown Gun Club. In January 16, 2023, they did conduct joint operations with the Elm Fork John Brown Gun Club chapter. The Elm Fork John Brown Gun Club, however, was one of the organizations that had members assault protesters at the Fort Brewing and Pizza restaurant in Fort Worth, Texas. Elements of the Elm Fork John Brown Gun Club, as well as the Dallas-Fort Worth Socialist Rifle Association, led by Benjamin Song, attacked the Pearland ICE facility on July 4th, 2025 in a coordinated attack. One thing that is rather concerning are the ties of Armed Queers SLC, as well as Fanayan, to high-level non-government organizations and state-backed organizations. Such examples of these organizations include the United States State Department, the United Nations, the Communist Party of China, and the Cuban government. Fanayan's ties to the United States State Department was for an award for the International Youth Summit on August 25, 2022, and recognized State Department-affiliated non-government organization, Utah Global Diplomacy, as a recipient for the 7 for 17 award for advancing the United Nations 17 goals. This organization has scrubbed the records of association with her on social media as well as websites. Apparently, she was selected to, quote, help shape U.S. foreign relations, end quote. Armed Queers SLC was viewed as an important organization as a figurehead of trans individuals for Utah Global Diplomacy. Found on the United Nations website, relating to their 60th anniversary civil society conference is a document featuring Fanayan as a key speaker on specifically LGBT topics. Hosted on August 26, 2019 to August 28, 2019. Armed Queers SLC is strongly associated with the National Network on Cuba. This organization operates within the United States and has Armed Queers SLC, as well as other organizations to be associated with them down below, as noted on their website. In a 2023 national meeting by NNOC in Boston, Massachusetts, Armed Queers SLC was seen in attendance, with connections and facilitation by Fernando Gonzalez Yort, as well as the Instituto Cubano de Amistad con los Pueblos, or ICAP, translated to English as the Cuban Institute of Friendship with the Peoples. Gonzalez was seen in the meeting in a teleconference call, presumably in his office in Havana. Gonzalez was a military advisor in Angola from 1987 to 1989. Afterwards, he was involved in Cuban intelligence in the 1990s, only to be captured among 4 other Cuban intelligence operatives known as the Cuban Five. They were arrested in September 12, 1998 by the United States government. Most of them, including Fernando Gonzalez, were released on December 17, 2014. Afterwards, he was appointed as a diplomat and the president of ICAP. April 25, 2025 to May 10, 2025, the Office of the Ministry of Foreign Relations of Cuba has announced a trip to the 18th National May 1st Volunteer Brigade, which, among other organizations, would have representatives of groups such as the Armed Career SLC to participate in. Armaya Fanayan then put herself in a photo in Havana, Cuba, on her own personal Instagram account from this trip. This photograph would be seen at the Hotel El Bosque near Revolution Square. It is likely that these individuals, Fanayan included, have received training within Havana to conduct operations within the United States, as well as other mouthpiece, talking points, and propaganda for Cuban government goals, for influencing populations as well as Cuban influence on other American Marxist armed groups. However, since the assassination of Charlie Kirk on September 10, 2025 in Utah Valley University, shortly after, associated media accounts of Fanayan, either personal or associated with organizations which is run by her, were found to be quickly deleted. This would be from platforms such as Instagram, X, and Facebook. Some key personnel identified in the organization is Charlie Padilla, who seems to be active with the organization since about fall of 2025, originally hearing from the group from the No Kings protests in Salt Lake City. Padilla is a literal Redditor. How horrifying, with his experience in that company as a full-time official Reddit Janny. Looking at the tactical equipment and composition of this organization, it seems that there is a mix of firearms, both rifles as well as pistols. Some of the more well-equipped members seem to have lower-end long guns, such as SKS rifles, AK pattern rifles, AR-15s, as well as a 9mm Smith & Wesson FPC folding carbine, with a large emphasis on marksmanship. Additional equipment, if any, appears to be lower-end plate carriers. Yet, with this intersectionality of the Chinese Communist Party, the Cuban government, the Elm Fork John Brown Gun Club, and its associated and related Dallas ICE facility attack, and the United Nations, with this American Marxist armed group, this has placed a new discovery and paradigm into the involvement of the state, as well as experienced individuals of state intelligence agencies to influence and place themselves in the destabilization and terror against the people of the United States. At least the FBI is now looking into them. With state-backed funding from the Chinese Communist Party, as well as the Communist Party of Cuba, what else can be uncovered in communist states and their influences on American non-state Marxist armed groups? Without the active and ongoing investigation of the United States intelligence and security agencies, if we're to fall upon the private citizen in dealing with state-sponsored paramilitary organizations, it would be a daunting and horrifying task. Fortunately, the FBI seems to be looking into it, but it's too early to tell what impacts they have on Armaya Fanayan or her associated organizations. And also, Armaya Fanayan, I can't really tell what the true identity of this individual is, or if that particular name is masculine or feminine, or I don't know if just Iranians are just really weird people. I can't really tell. Well, the Charlie Kirk assassination investigation has led to an individual, Tyler Robinson, being caught and now being charged with multiple crimes, which resulted in the death penalty. If these charges come through, there likely would be the involvement of other actors as well. This would include the boyfriend's roommate, Lance Twiggs. There could also be the possibility of other actors involved as well, yet it is unknown at this moment in time. This intelligence report on the SLC Pink Pistols and Armed Careers SLC is published on September 17, 2025. Precedence of priority. Lead analyst is Closer Bright Actual. Thank you very much for watching. And I'm going to have to level with you folks. This operation is becoming undermanned, and the mission creep is too far big, and everything is underfunded. Please, I cannot impress upon you, but donate to the Ko-fi or subscribe to the Stripe Star page. This is pretty daunting and pretty bad.